This single mother is bathing her paralyzed son. Suddenly she drowned him. The boy could neither breathe nor move. Suddenly her expression became cold. Just when the boy was about to drown, the mother suddenly woke up. It turned out to be just a nightmare. Lately this nightmare always appears. Perhaps it was because she had taken care of her paralyzed son for so long. Mary inherently has a happy family. But a few months ago, when her husband brought their son back to the dorm, the two had an argument. The husband's mood was extremely agitated, so he did not pay attention to the oncoming vehicle. Just like the two cars crashed into each other. The husband died on the spot. Her son was paralyzed. A single mother carries all alone. Under the care of his mother, Mike also gradually settled. Since then Mary became the life of Mike's spirit. Mary is a psychiatrist. Every day besides taking care of Mike, she also has to go out to work, because it is the only source of income for the family. Tom is the youngest patient in Bellum. With her motherhood instincts and empathy, Mary cares very much for Tom. Between two people, a relationship is formed like a mother and child. At night, Mary heard a noise inside. Mary nervously took out the flashlight to check it out. She discovered that the car window was broken. Inside the car there is Tom lying there. Mary hugged Tom inside. But when she turned to make the phone call, Tom was gone without a trace. After Mary heard the door shut, she rushed outside to find Tom. It was snowing outside, which made her extremely nervous. The next day, the press reported that Tom was missing. There is about to be a blizzard. If they don't find Tom, the boy will die. That night, Mary continued to run out to find Tom. Outside were only the screams of wind and wild beasts. Mary panicked and ran home. But the footsteps behind were getting closer. Finally, an arm was stuck at the door. Mary opened the door to find Mike. Mary woke up from a nightmare again. Just as she was about to go back to sleep, the door suddenly opened slowly. There seemed to be a black figure standing there. The black figure covered Mary's mouth with his hand. Mary had a clear view of the boy's face now. It's Tom, who's missing. Mary did not know if she met a ghost or an illusion in front of her. A long night passed. The next day Mary contacted the neurologist. Doctors diagnosed her because she had been deprived of sleep for too long, making her mind not awake. He even reminded Mary that if she was a psychiatrist she should not believe in ghosts. But Mary still believes that Tom is alive. The doctors had no choice. They intended to test Mary. The night when Mary cleaned her room, she heard again sounds. She quickly chased after the sound coming from the wall. Mary wanted to open the partition. Unexpectedly, when she put her hand on the door, suddenly a arm grabbed Mary's hand, which scared her to death. Mary fell on the ground. Not sure how long it had been since she awoke from her coma to find herself lying on the floor. Mary rushed to her room. Her son is still lying on the bed safely. Now the doctor made a video call to Mary. He asked if Mary had a sedative recently. At the same time he also warned her that these drugs have the ability to cause mental disorders. Mary did not notice it after listening, because she had never used that drug. Then Mary made an appointment with him in a few days to be examined at the hospital. Then Mary left the room. She was about to break the partition to see who it was inside. When the doctor was about to turn off the video call, suddenly he noticed something in Mary's house. No more Mike in the wheelchair. When he looked carefully again, there was a shadow in the room. The doctor was amazed. He quickly called Mary, but was unable to contact her. The doctor immediately called the police. At this point, Mary was trying to open the door. She was surprised to discover that the person inside was Tom. When she turned around, she saw when Mike was standing. Mary awoke again. She was tied in the bath by Mike. It turned out that Mike was recovering after a week of the accident. But he greedily wanted the care of his mother, so he pretended to be paralyzed until now. Until Tom appeared, Mother did not care about him anymore. Mike still doesn't understand why his mother is treating him like a stranger. Love so much, but not for him. So Mike made Tom go missing. He hid Tom in the partition, but was afraid Mary would hear it. Every day, Mike put medicine into Mary's food, leading to her frequent hallucinations. When Mike finished speaking, he put the medicine in Mary's mouth. These drugs could kill Mary. Then Mike planned to go to deal with Tom. The doctor was also coming to Mary's house now, because of the heavy rain, so the police could not set off. After Mike left, Mary put shower gel on her wrist, then easily removed the rope. She threw up all the pills Mike forced to take. Then she ran down to find Mike with his back to her. He's looking for a tool to commit the crime. Mary Crichton advised her son. She hopes her son can start a new life. But now Mike said a sentence that surprised Mary. That accident was not a surprise, but he deliberately arranged it. He hopes to live with his mother, but his father forced him to go to the dormitory. That's why he intentionally killed his father. When Mary finished listening, she broke down. She hit Mike with a hammer. Then she brought Tom running out. It was snowing heavily outside. Mary went back to the room to get clothes. Mike followed the two with the hammer. Finally, the doctor arrived. But unexpectedly he just entered the door was killed by Mike. Mike knew his mother was hiding in the room. He desperately used a hammer to hit the door. So she broke the glass window and let Tom up first. At this time Mike appeared. He pulled Mary down and said he would kill Tom. Mary feels her son is crazy. She grabbed the object beside her and hit Mike in the head. Then Mary dragged Tom out. Mike was persistent in chasing. They reached the lake. Mary put Tom on the raft first, then pushed him away. And Mary stayed to stop her son. But Mike chased the place. He pushed Mary aside. Mike put Tom under the water. Mary saw that her son was not about to stop when she made up her mind. Although she was very heartbroken, but still held a hammer to end Mike's life. Mary drove Tom out of the place. They start a new life, like nothing has ever happened. The movie here is the end. A psychiatrist, but unable to cure her son. Both pitiful and tragic. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.